I was always embarrassed to tell people that my grandmother was shipping queen. I didn't want to talk about it. I only knew that when she passed away, when I saw the newspaper, saw it saying like, yo, Gogo, I hit yo.
Yo.
I was with DJ Euphonic and DJ Terrence and Kent. I was like, and as we come out, I just had gunshots. We ran to my car and 2 bouncers died. And once you hit the rock bottom, you got to do the 3 stages of reflecting, understanding why you got there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It's Love, Marriage, and Family Podcast. And my name is Mo, and of course, I'm always never alone. I'm with this beautiful lady over here. Her name is Pindi. What's your name again? Her name is Pindi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it, babe.
Yes. Oh, guys. Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm always excited whenever we have an opportunity to sit with, amazing people. It's always an exciting time for me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be here. Another episode of Love, Marriage, and Family. And thank you so much for joining us. And as we've been saying, we've been hashtagging Road to 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And
we are there.
we've already
Surpassed.
we've already we've just passed 30,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you for your support, and really thank you for considering this podcast your home. It really means a lot to us. Keep on subscribing. I think last time we received a couple of inboxes.
Yeah.
Lesotho is in the house.
Yeah.
Australia is in the house.
Yeah. US,
US
London.
is in the house. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, guys, for taking the time and really being part of this family. It means so much.
And thank you so much again for the comments and the likes and so on. And also, by the way, other people want to thank other people there are a lot of people. We made one announcement in one of the episodes for people who want to support.
Oh, yes.
Financially
Yes,
support the
yes,
podcast. And we've had quite a positive, feedback on that. And we do want to, emphasize on that. If you want to support, and if you are blessed, by the stuff that we do here, and please do feel free to support us financially. It would mean a lot to us. And to our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, we never prepare really like intros, for our guests, because this is a conversation
from the heart.
This is a conversation and then all of that. But this one, even if we would prepare, intros and proper intros, for the guest, for this guest, we wouldn't do it for this one, because we go back a couple of years ago.
Yes.
A couple of years back, and we met under very different circumstances, and circumstances that all good. It's work, and all in the entertainment industry, as well. Nopindi, we've been playing in that space, as well for a number of years, and we came across. Our paths rather crossed, during interactions in Durban when we are trying to develop the industry.
Yes.
The nightlife, Yako Durban.
I remember this particular meeting so vividly, actually. I think we met, where was it? Waterfront, somewhere in the waterfront.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time I actually met Kgolo.
We met Kgolo. Oh, wow.
Years ago, I think probably almost,
Yeah, it's been 20 or whatever. It's been quite a couple of years. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the house we have Kgolo, DaGuru, Umthembu. Welcome to Love, Marriage, and Family Podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to start by saying peace be with you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
It's such an important commodity. If it is a commodity, peace.
It's
Such an important thing to have in life.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so man, and it's I love the peaceful space we're in, the peaceful, loving relationship that you guys have, the good energy, peaceful energy. It feels good to be here. I feel at home.
Yes, sir.
Because of the peaceful energy, the love that you guys have with each other.
Oh man. It's been a couple of years. Actually, even for us to have this conversation, It's obviously been a long time coming. We've only began this, by the way. It's actually almost a year now.
Yeah.
It's not even a year. Almost.
Yeah, we're a month away
we're a month away from a year. So
Wow, well done.
thank you very much, man. So you're one, obviously, of the people that, we've always wanted to have a chat with, and let's have a nation-building conversation. How about
Actually,
that?
an adult conversation.
Adult conversation. I love
Because
that.
we are, I think all of us, we've been around the block
Yeah.
to be in a position to have an adult,
Grown.
grown folk, conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, Velasa, it's our pleasure to have you. And
thank you for having me.
we are really excited to sit with you because I think, for me personally, I think if there's someone who's well experienced in this industry, it's you.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, and maybe you're going to help us, break this down. Tell us about yourself, because I think there's always been this thing that you have this love for KZN and Durban,
Yeah.
and yet
You are not a Durbanite by
you are
birth.
not a Durbanite. And a lot of people actually, I think for many years, they've been trying to crack this.
Hi, man.
What is it, Hulu and Durban? Because
Yeah.
every time when people are mentioning home, it's in Soweto.
Yes.
But
yes.
I think let's start it there.
Yeah.
Just a bit about who you are,
No,
honestly.
it's so strange. Before I go explain that,
Yeah.
ekhaya, it's my mother was saying the other day, out of all the children and then your siblings, sonke endlini we speak Sotho to each other. Like bayakhuluma. And then I couldn't grasp Sotho. I always used to respond in Zulu.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's because I was at the time before my dad passed away. Well, we were still young then. I think I was very close to him, and he used to take me everywhere, and he speak Zulu, or I had Zulu friends. But whatever it is, it's like I was groomed and understand Zulu and speak Zulu, and also love the culture of Zulu. But at the same time, my dad's family is from KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay.
So then it just made it easier for me to settle. I think the angels also were already waiting for me, paving the way for me to be and settle in Durban and KZN as a whole. But yeah, I am born and bred in Jozi, at Baragwanath Hospital, to be specific.
Wow.
That's a real Josie person.
That's a real Joseph person.
So yeah, I was born in Jozi, but I was made in Durban. And I think
You mean the name Kgolo?
Kgolo was born in Jozi.
I'm thinking of the other maid in Durban.
No,
is it?
made. I think I'm just made.
Yeah.
I think the people of Durban, the way they accepted me and KZN, they made me who I
Who
am.
you are.
And then just with God and with the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
I seem to, which I can make it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's. But I just felt I'm at home. My second home is Durban. I could feel when I'm doing things even out of Jozi, out of Durban, they would still succeed.
Gotcha.
But I chose to make Durban my second home.
Yeah.
And that's just everything about it. I want this. We don't have enough time to tell you how much I love Durban. I can count so many things. But yeah, that's how it just happened. Guti. So how I moved there was because at the time I was studying advertising and I needed a place to go do in service. In advertising, TPW handlers carriers, and I was like, I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks, and then at the time there was a big shift in the entertainment, in the advertising industry, where now the agencies could see the consumers are tired of people just translating a concept. Which was a white concept, and then now they have to translate in Zulu, which is Ohlala Kukoz FM.
Yeah.
So as a copywriter by profession,
now
I was like, I refuse to. There's a TV ad from Germany, but I will translate it in isiZulu. I said no. I want to come up with ideas that will speak to Abantu, the black people, and touch their hearts, not just a concept and just. And translate.
Yeah.
So that and the guys, they love the drive I had, the passion I had. So then they said, hey, after your exams, come work for us. But inside I'm like, okay, let me go back to Jozi. I don't see myself staying in Durban. Then I did, and then I came back. I'm like, I was 6 months. I need this money, man. And no one is hiring me. In fact, I tried to apply jobs somewhere in Jozi. No one could hire me. But the Durban guys, TPW, Handless Carriers, I think from there, I just enjoyed. They just gave me, I think, opportunities that I saw myself 6 months becoming 2 years, and then I got a job as spin-off as an ambassador. Then from Medicine Woman, who became my baby mama, the late Cook, and then it became 6 years.
Oh, wow.
12 years. It's been over 20 years being there. So this is my home. In fact, I've lived in Durban most of my life than I've lived in Joburg now. Yes.
Now I understand the confusion.
I understand the confusion. Oh, wow.
I hope it's settled now.
No, I hope it's settled.
They know.
Because I remember there was this article in either Isoles or Ilang. Hey, you could tell, even journalists were like, is he from here? You know, even in their conversation, you could tell they can't really locate you in terms of where you are from. Thank you for unlocking that.
Okay.
And then in terms of family, you know, what kind of family were you born in? Entertainment? Was it part of, you know, the fabric of your family, or is it something that caught you along the way? Yeah,
it's one I was raised by a single mother, social worker, helping people. And then but obviously when I was young, I had a relationship with my father before they divorced. And he was a people's person.
Yeah.
He and then just with life things happened. Then he hit his rock bottom, but he never recovered. And
sorry, you say why namatende?
Hiring tents.
Business.
Mama keys.
Yes.
And in the morning, like almost on the weekend. Like if you those times you would wake up very early.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm a 5 a.m. club man. Like 5 o'clock for me is like normal to wake up at 5 o'clock. Because my dad, every Saturday, Sunday, he had to wake up, set up on my tent. The one white seat, just wake up and follow. So I'm follow I like so I'd be with him from the morning.
Yeah.
And I used to see how he just wake up very early, cook, make sure the cars, the trucks are ready, the tents are washed, are clean, the packed, young kid is done. He was a hard worker. And over my mother also sometimes just helping people. So just just started there. But I also grew up, the house we're staying in was a shipping when I was still very, very young. And my family, my grandma is one of the first shipping queens in Soweto, Mam Lali. The street in Rockville, Moroka, which is named Lali Street, is named after her. From the history, just on East Soweto history, she's just played her role from coming from where they come from, I think, Sofia Town. And then they
Wait,
moved.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
You just said something big. The street is named after your mother.
My grandmother.
Yeah,
she was one of the first shipping queens in
wow.
Soweto. Yeah. I only knew that when she passed away, when you saw the newspaper, Soweto, like, yo, Koko, hit yo.
Oh, wow.
But it was something that, the funny thing is, I was always embarrassed to tell people that my grandmother was a shipping queen. You know, I didn't want to talk about it. But it was a proud moment when she had passed, and then I saw her in the paper when they wrote about it. She played a role in it, obviously in the ANC Women's League, and she was just a very, very great businesswoman. She had taxis as well. She comes from a family where they had tuck shops, the Triple T business, tuck shop, taxis, I think.
Yeah.
Taverns.
Yo.
I'm a Triple T.
Yeah. In the black community that time.
That is
even a Triple T.
That is the main. You are the thing.
But I mean, I was born when things were down. But it was just something that I was never proud of.
Okay.
My father also lost his businesses, and he had to be so bad that he had to stay in informal settlement, Orange Farm.
Okay.
And you know, obviously when you have your own most cool ubanama insecurities or your own complex. A time man, belly blind, but now we can't. He's not a hero anymore. That you know, and obviously the mother is the only one who's providing, and she's being raised by a single mother. It was also I think she just over sacrificed to make sure we go to the best schools, even though we're expelled at some time. We're in those schools and then to go to other sort of schools. But I was a naughty child. I won't lie. I was a naughty child. Just a normal child. I look in. Another story, another kid from the dusty streets of Soweto.
Yeah.
Cliche.
Common story.
Common story.
Yeah.
So it's I was like that. I tried to hustle. I tried to start businesses in Lona. Ngithatha loan more ekhaya ngaba ngigunda imishini ama holidays
Coca.
tried to snooker business. I was selling alcohol illegally, like my grandmother, the shipping queen, when I was only even 18. In high school, I already had a business where I had a snooker table. Then I'm a Haddies and I'm a Haddies. I think I'm a Haddies. I'm a cider. I'm a crown. You know. Hey, and then I used to talk like a case and I'll sell illegally to illegal to underage, which was wrong. You know. So I think I hope God forgives me.
No, you are forgiven. So your business acumen then
stems from there.
Comes from there because I mean, talking about your dad, you actually are describing yourself.
Yes.
You know.
Very much.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I just he's still my hero. And I whatever I didn't do is for me. Like it's actually what made me who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any. As much as like he was hardly there most of my life, but maybe it's because of that I'm who I am. I'm strong enough to, no matter what, I know there's no one else but me to fix my life. Because even my mother was so alone with, end up being 5 of us at home. I was the second last born. But like, it's like there was, like she would tell you, listen, I'm your pant. Like, I wanna, ube ne medical aid kuthi mawugula wazi uyobona doctor but I want mafuna lama gold tooth la I want mafuna kozimoda I want mafuna ipho ama kavela leyo hambuza then that's when I then started hustling to get those cavelas no offense to anyone gold tooth but luckily I didn't get a gold tooth because I'll be trying to find money to take it out.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And then obviously relocating, was there a specific time? I know you said that, you were in between, Durban sort of became the home city for you. And, it grew into you, especially after you have matured. And so at what point do you then say, okay, this is home? I know you said something about the 100 Scaries and the fact that you were working there and then you decided to. At what point then do you say advertising, it's wonderful, but I think nightlife is calling more?
Yes. So it's so strange. Like I just turned 21 when I moved full time to Durban, and I just had the best 21st birthday bash, 626 bash in J, which people didn't understand. How do you leave after you've had the biggest bash with all these big DJs who came to support you? Ama-Holman, ama-Gins, Asa-Lokshina and Mali came to support you. Those days our heroes were the ama-Gins, Lokshina, and 1 or 2 doctors. So we're like our more role models. But the ama-Gins were more than one. Soccer players were the ones.
Sure.
And they all came and supported me. But then I'm like, no, let me move there. And then when I was in Durban, and I got approached by Diageo now, it's called Diageo now, brand house, to be their first Smirnoff Red ambassador. And then we did the first party in Ushaka Marine with Oshaka, and then there's a breakthrough for me. Ushaka Marine was still new, and then now I'm doing this party in a shark tank somewhere there. So you're seeing sharks, you're seeing stage, you're seeing lighting, and it just became a hit. So I was like, hey man, I'm not going anywhere. I love this place. People love me. I'm feeling it. And obviously at the time I ended up having a baby with Ukuku, my late baby mama, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in love. I've got a baby, and even just when she was when she was pregnant, when she was about to have give birth, and I lost my job, food got Smirnoff. And then it was bad, and I think I almost had to come back. In fact, I did. I come back home, but I'm like, no, I have to find a plan to come back again to Durban. So it's so. I didn't want to go there now, but the timelines, like that when I lost my job as Smirnoff, the contract ended because it's a contract job. And my baby mom was pregnant with my first daughter, and it was bad. And I lost my grandmother at the same time, and just a lot of things. I started drinking a lot, and I came back home. and I recovered and I went back. And I'm like, no, I'm fine now, you know. So and the way I came back is just again, the way things fell apart. It's just through a certain incident, call it event, you know, event of losing my job, losing my grandmother who I was very close to, and she was the only one endlin enkulumana is Sotho. The rest is Zulu. Endlin even today they speak Sotho to each other. No one, but when they speak to me, immediately changes to a point whereby I actually never picked it up until my mother raised it. Now.
Okay, that's strange.
Like we talk so good, like, hey, what the piece, I'm more cost of and then like it's normal. But I think they also like kind of understood, hey, we're stubborn too much into this father's side, or something, or bangani. But I kind of never. It's so strange that I never picked it up. It's so normal.
That is strange.
But maybe it happens to like I'm a cheese girl, she's boys now. They say, hey boy, come here. Maybe the same thing. I guess the same thing. But it's just that this happened in Zulu, so it's not able too obvious for me. I'm actually the only one, the black sheep of the family. Hey, I'm like Zulu. Hey, Zulu. I'm the most stubborn one, apparently, I guess.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. If this platform means anything to you at all, if this platform blesses you in some other way, you know, there's a lot of costs to actually run this project, and would really, really appreciate it if you could, give whatever, you feel led to give towards this platform. And the banking details are at the bottom of the screen. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, 10 Rand, 10,000 Rand, doesn't matter. We're open to everything, because we really not only are enjoying this, but we really feel the importance of this platform and the role that it plays, to various families and people who give us feedback about the importance of this platform.
So you move into this club scene.
Yes.
Skype.
Hey, do you know what? Can I confess?
Yeah.
The first time I entered the club was because of you. Because you invited Umo Skype. And it was the first time. And let's not go there. Let's not go there, because we are ordained pastors now. But I mean, we were young. I mean, this was like many years ago. But I mean, the Sky Bar started. Sky Bar was the thing.
Was it the place that really made you in terms of the nightlife, or were there other clubs? Yeah, in Durban.
Yeah, it was not the first club, but from a breakthrough perspective, it was. It had a lot of. I think what happened is that there was never a Puza Thursday in Durban. Never. Nama never planned it. So I just went to a club, and where it's called Views now, funny enough.
Yeah. Or is it the same location?
Yeah, same location. So I went and said, hey, how you? Hey, those days, I do So you were like, no, I want to book your place. If I book it and I make certain amount for you at the bar, can I get the venue for free? But how much do you think you're making? But they just started laughing, But this man won't do these numbers. I did the first one, and was a flop, was a big disaster on a Friday. And then the next one, it picked up next Friday. And then, but not so great, I didn't do the numbers. And the guy said, the network is not making sense.
Yeah.
I'd rather do the Indian market or white market or colored market, but Friday is a big night. So we can stop it, or you do Thursdays or Wednesday or Monday or whatever it is. Then I said, no, I'll do Thursdays. I don't know what's going to happen, but there was never a Thursday consistent clubbing night.
Yeah.
There was something called Ingaba, which is a SAB thing.
I remember.
But it's only a nightclub.
Yeah.
It was like a vibe. There's a kwa for free, people drinking beer. But from a hardcore mainstream nightclub. It was the first, and still was a big disaster.
Yeah.
But they didn't care because it was Thursday.
Yeah.
I think
They're not expecting anything anyway.
And-
then I don't know what happened, and then one day it just became the longest queue I've ever seen. Ngati queue as a Capitec.
Wow.
It was the Thursday we were there.
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, I'm
It must
joking.
have been.
I
No,
know.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2004. It was the longest queue ever
Yeah,
I've
round
seen.
about the same time.
Yeah. And that's because we then started advertising ladies free before 10.
Ah.
And then
I
we're surrounded
remember
by
that.
all the DUT students.
Yes.
Just surrounded by, I think, also another UKZN.
Yeah.
So it was very, especially UKZN from Westville, it was very convenient for them.
Yeah.
Even Howard was convenient for them. DUT definitely, there were very few of these colleges that are in town now.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, we just decided to ladies free before 10 and all cocktails, welcome drink.
Yeah.
And then it just blew up. And then we had guys taking buses from Joburg, big artists, Pocket, everybody would just come and just try to perform.
Yeah.
And because it was facing the Suncoast side, where the most beautiful sunrise, so people will leave at 7 o'clock in the morning
Wow.
on a Friday and people are going to work. And then it's just like,
Wow.
so yeah, that was my breakthrough. And one of the worst situations when there was shooting and it was all over SAP News. The first time I was around an event where people were shot in front of me.
Yo.
I was with DJ Euphonic and DJ Terrence and Kent. I was like, and as we come out, I just had gunshots. We ran to my car and 2 bouncers died. One Umandla and Usbo. And it was the worst thing ever, shocking thing ever I've ever seen. I was traumatized big time.
I remember that
Big
time, yeah.
And it's like for me just before 6, and then the 6 o'clock news, East Coast Radio, Durban Top Club shooting, then became 7 o'clock news, 8 o'clock news, just then didn't stop. SAPC once. The police came and they came to do investigation. They saw the shooting happen. They put it on TV. It was trending. There was no TikTok at the time.
Yeah.
But my BBM was really...
was BBMing.
BBM day. Sorry, I'm just laughing about it, but it's a serious matter. But yeah, it was like really traumatizing for me and DJ Chinaman because we were there. Then there was Shwashwi, there's mad out, blood on the dance floor, and then boom, my business partner Chinaman is on the front page of the Shwashwi inserts.
Sure.
And it's just our lives were in danger. We could not focus, we could not do much. And then it just went through, everything just fell apart. And people thought it's over. But I said, no.
Wavuka, because
I don't my God. But yeah, so we felt, and we just, people were happy that the biggest club just went down.
Yeah.
And it did go down because no one would, there is no one at the time. So at the time, if there was any shooting in a club, it's closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now 2 people died.
Bad publicity, I guess.
Biggest artists were around. Kent Phonic, Shocked. It was all over the biggest news. At the time, in Davazara 7, it was so important. I want to win in Davazara 7. Whether it's good or bad, you're in trouble. If it's good, you're great. If it's bad, like you are done. And then again, had to go home. Had to go home, recover, pray. And I said, no, Chinaman will do it. And he said, let's do it. We're the best club. We restarted again. People were not feeling safe. But we introduced the members only now because the people who shot the bouncers, we didn't know who they were. We didn't know suspects. So now we decided to have club a membership. We have to submit your ID. We have to scan you. We did our first club to have a card where we give you a member's card.
Oh, wow.
Because we need to have
control
your data.
Control, yeah.
Give us your ID, we scan your face. Because that's the only way we could run
Identify
again.
people.
We ran again, became again the biggest club again. And I just grew out of it. I then went to Flash, which is now called 47. It became Rich. So, but I was only a promoter. I didn't own them.
Yeah.
Didn't own them at all.
But you transitioned at some point.
Maybe before that. Were there ever arrests?
Yes, the guys were arrested and they were shot. They died. I think they tried to escape or they died as well.
The people that murdered.
Yeah, they murdered. Yeah,
They were also died.
Yeah, I think there was some issue with the police, but they were not only involved. The other cases. I think there were investigations done.
Okay.
Yeah, Tina was just we're young. We didn't know much. The owner of the club was leading a lot with the case. Tina didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
They didn't want to tell us. I think the investigators said don't involve us, which was very scary as well, because now they had the leads. They knew who these people were. We didn't know.
You didn't know.
We still don't even know today exactly who shot the guys. They never gave us information, but I just prayed about it and just accepted it. But I didn't know. But I think it was just the owner of the club trying to save himself and whoever the investigator it was. Yeah, I mean, just been, what's Uvuka Malamba? It's just one of those, I just, the rise and the falls, I've experienced them so many much.
Yeah.
I've been in the Noah's Ark for a couple of times. But God say, come in, but it's going to be rocky. It's going to be rocky for you, but you must know. And I think somehow He has prepared me mentally and spiritually from a tender age.
Yeah.
Even when my dad left us and divorced, I think that for me was one of the things I always say, I'm grateful God put me through those tests to pray, because when my parents divorced, I actually became very involved in Sunday school.
Okay.
And I got
so you were young at the time?
I was young, yeah. I mean, the divorce, I was actually three years old. But when I picked up with, it's really happening. Like my dad is like, is not in my life.
Not part of us.
Then I prayed a lot about it. I went to church a lot. And, I was involved a lot. But I was still a normal child who gets into trouble. But I think God prepared me for a lot of those tragedies. You're saying it right.
You got that right.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean,
Oh, cool. So you transitioned, as obviously as you were growing, even in the industry and so on, and you transitioned from just being a promoter, clubs, into owning, certain properties. At what point? At what point was that?
Oh, at what point? So when I was going through a very bad breakup with my baby mama at the time.
Ukuku,
Ukuku. Pasha, may so rest in peace. I just I could not focus, and I just pretty much just made bad choices. And that led me to go back home. And the club owner said, you are not super. And at that time, I feel entitled for saying things which at the time I thought I was right, but then when I had to go back home and I lost everything I had. I had a nice T spot. I was the only first black guy to have it. I lost it all. My place in Kloof, everything I lost. I went back home. And then as a promoter. But then other promoters came on. They tried the thing. I think they could not take it to the same level.
Yeah.
And the owner of the place called me like, you sober now? I'm sober. What's his name? Mr. Governor. Mr. G. It's called Mr. G. I'm sober, man, now. Sure. Okay, cool. Sober, come. I want to consult, man. These guys are doing the club. They're not doing the trying, but they're not doing like you. So I came, and then I said, no, I don't. I'm back, because then every time I come home, I get restored. I go to prayer series, and I become this Christian. So I said, no, I don't want to go too much in the club thing, Mr. Governor, Mr. G. I'll help you consult for 3 months, but I want to fly in on the day of the event, and I want to fly the next day, because I just want to focus on my church and my relationship with Jesus. And he's like, no, cool. And now in the term of 3 months, I realized, like, hey, listen, he's losing me. I had a guy called Undabo Langa, and he was the chairman bar, which was one of the world's finest bars in the country. So Undabo like, yo, what's going on, man? I see you back. Let's start something. And then I'm like, no, I'll consult. I really don't want to be in Durban and in the club scene and nightlife scene where there's girls, there's alcohol, and all these things. And then somehow, while praying, I said, you know what, let me do this. And then I said, guys, if you want me to do this, I want shares. And then they gave me shares. I never bought them. but I came with sweat equity because I put a lot of hours, a lot of time.
Yeah.
Turning it around, business became the best club in the country and in one of the best clubs in the country. And definitely Chairman was one of the world's best bars. He even won an award at the Luris.
Oh, they were
remember.
amazing.
I remember.
Double
Yeah.
made sure, even though we used to clash sometimes, like, hey, we're playing jazz. You know, man, it's
Put a bit of this.
man. Sing a house, man. Hey,
Deep,
yeah, you know, the jazz, and I'll fall asleep, but I won't forget I see you go to
Yeah.
them. But you know what?
But that concept was just brilliant.
Yeah, it was just brilliant, but I did not grasp. And he's one of my, mentors, because when it comes to arts and just being a non-conformist,
Yeah.
he taught me to be non-conformist.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because people will come and say, Chairman, it's an antique style, antique design.
Yeah.
Very,
Those
authentic.
walls.
Yeah.
And, oh.
So but what's second hand furniture? Yeah, it's a second hand.
But who was a figure and conform to what they are
Yeah, they didn't want.
And,
So I didn't
loved
get it, man, at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all I knew was, I know that I can make it groove when Nandilana, when I'm a gimmicks, it was a tebe,
Yeah.
oh lolo,
Yeah.
yabo.
Yeah.
Namantombazana
Yabo,
phethe
yabo. Yeah, I'm a
The
sparkles,
champagnes.
we dance on top of the furniture, but Ndabo was very firm about it. But it helped me, it taught me, stick to what you believe in. Especially when it comes to being a creative.
Yeah.
You can't conform. Even if you have a certain niche, small niche, it's okay. And then I did it, I worked with him. Then from there, I already knew how to negotiate partnerships. Then it went from being a 20% shareholder, 50%, 100%. Then I acquired more venues. I owned them. I opened Views. I opened Hugo. I opened many. And I then one day made a bad decision. I lost everything.
Actually, this is where we want to get to.
Before we get to that, I want to get you. There's something that you mentioned. Uguti, when Mr. G called you, you said, I would rather stay for one night and come back because I don't want to be around a place that has girls, booze,
alcohol, yeah.
And I'm assuming the white stuff. So you are scared to be where you'll be tempted.
I think at the time I never understood a relationship, no nkulunkulu, how it works, with Jesus, how it works. And I never used to read the Bible a lot. I never actually knew, which at the time even Jesus would just lose it and just call people serpent and fight and throw. There was time I think in the temple people were doing it, making a market somewhere, and it just came very angry and just threw things, and just was not happy. So he was a normal. He would act normal like a normal person, and he would go to places where people say, you're going to end up with prostitutes, going down with taxpayers, you're going, and then he was judged and slandered and everything like that. So, but it's like, in life, you must understand who you are. You must know what you stand for. Because if you don't know what you stand for, you can fall for anything.
True.
And at the time, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I said that to him, I didn't know. I can actually be in a room with all the dangerous wild animals, lions, and I'll come out alive like Daniel. I don't have to be scared if I know where my position stands with Jesus.
That's right.
So that's why I said those things. Now I'm in a position where I'm human. Yes, I have a bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more fearless now. I'm fearless actually most of the time, because even when I come up with ideas, they don't even really make a normal sense to even me. But something says, as in, do it. Then I do it and I decide, okay, let me do that. Is Skype to me. There's not proper parking, people have been robbed, people have been killed, a bad reputation. Then I believe I'll turn it around, and I turned it around. It became the best club. Even when I bought the building in Hugo, which became one of the hottest clubs in Durban, it's like people are saying, how are you going to have another club which is like 20 meters away from your other club?
Yeah.
So the other one will go down, and guess what? It complemented each other. It became the number one club at some point, Hugo. TikTok, the reviews on TikTok were amazing, and a great team behind me. In fact, I think I've been so fortunate that when I pray and I say, God, remove anything that's not supposed to be in my life and surround me with greatness, I do get the greatness, especially when my relationship is right with God and there's no doubt.
I love that.
Because doubt and faith cannot exist at the same time. Can't.
Yeah.
And now, and which is one of the biggest problems. When I lost everything, I started questioning. And COVID also made me question a lot of things about my faith and God. What is he trying to do? Or is this really the end of the world? So if so be it, I think enjoy for the last time, but I was also reaching my burnout stage, which is the midlife crisis, you know? So I made decisions, and the biggest thing I did is like I didn't want to take accountability. I always wanted to find, one, I wanted to escape, a little of escapism, and then I also was not involved in my business hands-on. I wanted to escape more than to be involved, and I wanted to not take accountability, and that's when, and then I was also could see it as in, no, it's champile much. Now in my champile, like you wanna act not right.
Yeah.
And then I could see I'm feeling burnout. I don't want to wake up. I don't love this person anymore. I'm drinking 2 bottles of wine minimum a day, every day. I don't even remember if I was eating, but I knew I was drinking like every day for 2 years, every day, every day.
That must be something.
It's crazy, like how I survived. It's like I literally trying to kill myself, but I couldn't die. And it's amazing, Wuti. I've actually been clean since Feb, March, April, May. Still soon, but I can feel it. I'm not gonna go back.
Yeah.
And I've been through the same thing before. It's been 3 times since I've relapsed. 3 times, and I've gone out of it without rehab.
Yeah.
When I went to rehab for the first time, December, decided, let me put myself in the rehab, was not because I needed it. I just wanted to, I could hear, because I know how to ignore the noise.
Yeah.
I could hear people are saying this about you. They said, maybe rehab can be affirmation, with actually saying it right. But guess what? That brought me back to square one in January. 15 days of January was hectic.
This year
was hectic. I became worse than I was before. And if I could sue that place that I went to, because they wasted my time. They did nothing for me. I don't remember getting medication, to be quite honest.
Wow.
But it's fine.
What do you think brought you to that place again?
Because I saw that everything that is out there is in there.
Okay.
Okay. No,
and then you have people that are saying, why are you here when are you okay? You know what we used to do? You are when you're waiting 70,000 a month, because 70,000 a month to be in that kind of a rehabilitation. At the time, it's a wellness center, man. And your wellness center, guys. Retreat. No, rehab. Like you're surrounded to your life. But I was not really big on substances. I was very big on alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was very big on alcohol. Like I think that for me was, one, it was affordable, only wine, 1 bottle of wine, 45 rands, 50 rands, and it's just also, it became like normal with everybody. And I overdid it, and I made a lot of mistakes. I hurt a lot of people. I disappointed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And luckily, going to reflecting about it, and I went and I repented. I got baptized in Feb again. Again, I just said, no, I want to use Nigella food. I really want to do it again. I feel like I need it, because, you reflect yourself. I feel like once you hit rock bottom, you got to do the 3 stages of reflecting, understanding why you got there. And then you have to really repent. And the 3rd one is reconcile with the people you've had, which is difficult.
Very important, yeah.
Very important, very difficult, because some people never take apology, accept apology. And I still pray every day for people to forgive me. And it's hard.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned earlier, Mama, of your firstborn.
Yes.
And I know that you lost your firstborn. You're gonna make me cry. I know that you obviously. Now I'm reflecting as we are mentioning, the fact that in December you had to get yourself into a rehab.
Yeah.
And I know prior to that you had lost your daughter.
No, I lost my baby mother, my baby mama.
Baby mama,
Or
yeah.
my first daughter, yes.
Yeah.
It's last year. It's just too many storms were happening.
Yeah.
So you lost the baby mama.
Lost the baby mama, yeah.
Okay.
I did lose my son when I had a stillborn with my Annie, but what people don't know is that when I had my traditional wedding, the day before, Annie was saying, no, I don't think the baby's beating. You know, man, much anxiety, excitement. We're getting married tomorrow. And then like, no, and then we're still not sure. And then the Saturday of the wedding, okay, cool. We're trying to focus on the wedding. There's people, there's guests, but she's still not sure. But then, Nami being at that moment, like when I say I pray, I think like I'm a man of faith. I said to her, even God will never put us through that on our wedding weekend. We can lose our son when we've lost 3 babies already. We had 3 miscarriages before.
That, yeah.
There's a 4th one. Last trimester, we can't lose this one. So I was like, impossible. If a miracle happens, a miracle happens. So on the wedding, when the wedding happened, I convinced, I said, we prayed about it. And sadly, after the wedding, it's like, no, just go to a doctor.
Something is not right.
Went there, and then we had to give birth. The next day, she had to give birth to a stillborn. Then we had to bury our son on the Sunday after the traditional wedding.
Sure. When was that, Kgolo?
Tuesday, when we had a traditional wedding. See, now you're going to put me in the spot. Men don't remember dates.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
It was like, so before 2020.
Yeah.
So it's a marriage funeral on Sunday.
Oof.
And people saying, maybe she's not the one, maybe she's the one. I'm like, no, this is the one. Because I prayed for her. I prayed for God to give me a wife.
Yeah.
And God gives you what you pray for. He always, like what you meant to be yours, God will give you. The problem is that what people need to understand, because we are fighting a spiritual battle every day.
Yeah.
When you start seeing things by sight, it's normal, not by faith, you then lose in the battle. You test. Like in the scripture of Job, where the devil, God, when Satan went to God to say, Bantu, they worship you because you give them all these things. If you stop giving your people these beautiful things, they'll stop worshiping you. I try my son Job. Job lost his kids, lost his business, lost his camels, lost everything. But he still knelt down and said, God, I came naked and I can live without anything. I'll be fine.
Yes.
But after a couple of tests, he failed, and he lose it. But I not read the scripture of Job. Until last year. I actually started reading the scripture of Job last year, and it's been sort of prophesied to me. A lot of people told me, you gotta always read the scripture of Job, because there's a storm that might come, and you're not gonna be ready. God is gonna test. The devil's gonna test you so many times, and that's because God is proud of you.
Yeah.
But when we let God down and
trust
fall for
you,
the
yeah.
so, but they'll test you a lot. Accidents happen. I didn't know why sometimes our offices would bend down. If views twice bent down, nobody knew. I didn't take in the papers. Yes, we all had COVID, but I still had a trauma of COVID, because nightclubs were like, no clubs.
Yeah.
Social distancing, we're the worst one. We just opened a salon with any, and again, we could not open the salons. Social distancing, no what.
So your work was always in contact.
Ours was contact.
Yeah.
And then and then it's like come the looting.
Oh, yes.
I was the only club in my area that was looted. Only.
Sure.
No other clubs.
Wow.
Now, again, I've got semi-outdoor spaces, views, and Luma. KZN storms, they come. But I still prayed. I was like, no, I'll be fine. And guess what? Every time I prayed, God blessed me, because insurance paid me and I did a better Luma. I did a better views. That's why he renovated me in views.
Sure.
So I never, but then came a lot of tests. And you get to a point whereby you start losing the faith. You're not sure what's going on. And then you start listening to things, start relapsing. And then you start blaming everybody. You don't go home. That's a problem.
As
if you
in
don't go
home,
home. Like we're born.
Yeah.
Like especially if you still have your mother and your siblings, you must go home. You must go to get yourself in a peaceful place where you can pray, and always find the time to pray as much as you can, because you can you can get lost, especially as broken men. I put myself as I always label myself as a broken man. We come into people's lives damaged, unhealed, and it's unfair to them.
Yeah.
It's unfair to them, not just a relationship, in a marriage. Yeah. It's unfair even workspaces, friendships. We promise people things, but because we're unhealed, and because maybe we don't know, we just come in there. Maybe we mean well, but our factory settings are not right. They were damaged in the process. They're damaged, but we have to find a time when you alone. Aloneness is actually not alone with God, your angels, and then you pray about it. And if somehow we are shown to do certain things to heal, you gotta heal, because you're gonna enter in a space where you build an empire where people with that empire, you make their lives better. They rely on you, and then one day you decide to make a stupid decision and everything falls apart. You're damaging people's lives.
Yeah.
That is.
And how did that work out though? Because earlier on you did make mention, now it's the second time you're talking about making a wrong decision, and then which messes up, everything. How does that tie up? I'm talking about the bad decision.
Yeah.
How does that tie up to your marriage right now with N?
Yeah, at the moment, it's you. It can't. I'll be very honest. It's not good. It can't be. There is no way. You can be someone's role model, lover, hero, and end up one day becoming an animal. You're like an animal, opposite.
Yeah.
Like you don't love yourself, firstly.
Okay.
So then you can't give someone else love.
Yeah.
Because you don't love yourself. You don't give them time because you don't even give yourself the right time. You're not prioritizing on the right things. So therefore, it just messes up everything. Remember, we are only the heads of the home if Jesus is the head of your life.
That's so good.
Otherwise, you're not the head.
So
I don't care how powerful you are, how much money you have.
Yeah.
But if Jesus is not the head of your life, you don't expect your ways of your rules in the house or the way you do things in the house, which they're gonna work. Your culture doesn't matter, to be quite honest, quite frankly, if your culture is not really Jesus. If your traditional culture doesn't matter, if Jesus is not the head of your life, you're not gonna make good decisions.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make concrete decisions. Then you affect the spine, then the whole body collapse.
Yeah.
And our wives are like the spine. And that is and if the head is not right, you've killed it for everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody. You've messed it up for all businesses that are relying on you to eat every day.
Yeah.
You someone decided, you know what, I now work for DaGuru. I can actually take a risk and get a bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can risk and then start ngani about the makhaya. Ngiyisuse emakhaya ngiyohlisa eThekwini.
Yeah. Yeah. And because they're relying on you.
Because you are that gift that God gave them. And then when God is not part of you as a head, you are lost. You are lost. I can't say it anymore. And I guess also, it's even the punishment becomes harder when you know God, what the plan that God has for you. It's like now also tells him, Big G, I know you're going to be there for me. But this time it was hard because now it involved a lot of people where I had over 300 staff members. I'm married. I've got 3 kids. When you're alone, baby mama, I was singing, the comeback is kind of not easy, but it is possible. But now you like getting in a space whereby your depression, it becomes worse and worse, and you're looking for an escapism. You don't want to be told the truth. You are now running away from the people who are going to tell the truth. You enjoy those saying, we start saying DaGuru and we enjoy pilo. Then those are then what happens? You don't heal. And that is the biggest problem I think I face. And we also need to have patience with abantu laba you've let down.
Yeah.
Then you think, now they'll forgive you.
Yeah.
You are being unfair to them.
Yeah.
You've been unfair by coming into their lives and not healed. And also knowing Guti Futi, you're supposed to get healing. but you still want people to be in your life. Yeah, boy. That's why I always say to people now, even now, don't jump into one relationship to another. Whether it doesn't have to just marriage or relationship, love life. Just try, Guti. You know, even if business, you know, you just had a business partner, let me go partner with another guy. Business partner, you jump there, you still unhealed. It's unfair.
Yep.
Because you
are bleeding in all these
relationships. And then it just becomes you become a very toxic person. And you'll never. I want accountability. Everything is offensive, man.
Yeah.
Mo saying a tiny camera like Mo. I see Mo now post a range over Yamle, repossessing some more la pemol by Tata and clever band. Say Mo young qualisela match. Mo has no was to me now. Embarrassing my range over is taking that by Econubia morning. Say Pagel, from 4 pipe. But you're shaking about it, yay, with them taboo. You give us a hard time, man. We've been looking for you in this car.
Hey.
Saying blame me, if
Mama's report a motor, you know nothing, eh?
Hey, no, listen, and okay, I want to job shala, but you want to lift. Maybe leave you somewhere. Okay, man, guy lift. Bang morning puming a range, but it's in the West State, saying where saying Uber or Ngambang motor. I'll go show Uber very like lost. At some point, as you've lost your memory, your mind, I was saying. Then decide, no, I don't share la paratops. Actually, you told it touch courage. You don't get a now for the walk like anything tanks the Range Rover.
Yes, you have to make a matrix.
Yes.
Mara, you said something about Uguti, when as a man you don't have a covering, which is God. You can never be the head of that family, even if you try. Do you think that's what happened to you? Do you think you left your position?
I lost. So remember, anything that you do more than worshiping God, it becomes a demigod. You know, I say, people say, the biggest addiction in the world is smoking, which it is tobacco, but it could be a cell phone. That's a demigod. Could be a TikTok, could be social media, begging dabas about and always laughing at about and just talking bad about the band. That could be your demigod.
That's true.
So I think for 2 years I didn't open the Bible. For 2 years I didn't really pray. Thanks God. Something. Thanks God. Hey, thank God. That's the prayer I had. So therefore, I was lost. I was in a dark space. And I started believing, hey, I next door. And no,
so not part of
so mind games are there. Yes, there were things like strange things like very whoosh and just I don't got any very whoosh. Five men showed what happened. We had 3 of those. I had major car accidents where I was meant to be in that car. My cars, 4 of them were in bad accidents, and my family was there except me and Annie. But like, if you look at the cars, I've got them on my social media. If anyone can look at my social media, will see the cars, how they look like, and look at the people that were in those cars. Not even one scratch, because those accidents were not made for me. Or God said, my child is not going anywhere.
Sure.
My son is not going anywhere. And then I saw those. Instead of seeing Gucci, God is saying to me, I love you. Look what I did for you. You could have been in the car, you didn't die. And also people in the car, nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
I love you, son. I love you. Then then I think I just said, hayi bangithakatha abantu mfethu bangabenzeni abantu yazi mina ngipha abantu imisebenzi mina ngiyadonate ngenza so ngiyayipha ne-ANC imali mfethu ama leadership ngiyayipha imali mfethu ngama elections ngiyadonate ngenza yonke into. I don't wake up. I don't have this thing ukuthi I can't hold grudges. Funny enough, I think that's also a thing that makes me delusional, because sometimes I allow the people that mess me up in my life and I tell them my secrets and they still do it again over and over again. But I was seeking more of validation from the people that didn't matter and the right people. And then when I decided, you know what, since I love myself and things are happening like this, I fixed my life, funny enough, just before the festive season. I stopped drinking, I stopped everything, I was focused. But then I said, I need that one thing here. Rehab, so they can believe me. Because I don't believe.
Yeah.
You know, like, not imagine, no more right, but, hey, I will try into Zaka, I go sober. I'm like, go to sober.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me.
Yeah.
That made me go to rehab for that.
Yeah.
But then
prove
a bad relapse, which it almost killed me. But then it also, something so bad happened that I'm like, yo, as in, like I think for 3 days I was passed out. I didn't wake up, and I'm like, yo, I was meant to be dead. Let me just fix my life, and instead of seeking validation, I started seeking God's love, Jesus' love. I started looking for podcasts of Jesus' love, reading a lot, and it's not a trick or anything. Let's see one of my adverts or Headway. Headway is like a app that gives you summarized books every day. So I was reading a book every day, but it's a 15 minutes book summarized. You know, I'm a 7 habits of successful people, powerful people, and reading I'm a Robert Sharma books, reading all these books. Then one day I'm like, you know what? Let me start reading my Bible.
The book.
The book. I must not learn to learn that I'm going through, man. Now, this is what Jesus went through. Not Jesus, but this is what Abraham went through. Like this is what David went through. It is written in the book. It is written in the Bible. It is written in the stars.
Sure. This is what
that I will
Job
fall
went through.
and I'll come back again.
Yeah.
And then I started saying, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to fake it. I'm going to be who I am. There's one again, it takes in. I actually took a taxi last week from Durban to Joburg. And as in, I started this selfie. The thing, a bus in, I still take a bus. I hit rock bottom so much with it. It reminded me where I started. And saying I was comfortably in a Passini, a Greyhound, Intercape, in taxi, a Sprinter, wherever I want to go, as long as I make it in time and I become reliable. I try to be there in time on our meetings. I used to be very late on meetings. Hour. I've even my interviews, my job, and guys about early. All the jobs I received in my life, I've been late in a pattern CV.
Yes.
You know, when for this podcast, Peter doesn't know this. I connected you in the morning.
Yes.
I connected you in the afternoon. Because the thing is, this is a new Hulu. You know that this is a new Kgolo the Kgolo that I've known back then, is the one that he's talking about. You know what I mean? So we're really, really grateful for that.
Yeah. No, and then just before we close, because we're running out of time, where are things between you and your wife? Because I'm saying this so that it comes from your own mouth, because people write whatever they want to write,
And they have written already.
Sometimes in this podcast, we do allow people to get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Rather than picking up stompies from everywhere,
Okay, I'm going to give you the best, I think it's the best answer. The one, when I made a decision not to do other seasons, being selfish again. No, we're not doing this,
Seasons of?
A season of Real Housewives.
Okay.
Was based because I just realized one thing, you know what, we expose ourselves too much out there and we gave people power to control our relationship. And then I think last year when it started, I said, I will no more engage or talk about my marriage in public or expose my personal life in public. But what I will showcase and speak about is the testimony of God, what God has done for me. So watch this space and see what God will do for me individually as a whole, and what He'll do for Annie as a person, and what He'll do for us as parents and our family. That's all I can spread now, the testimony of God, but not the personal issues of my life. Yeah.
So do you think the being on a reality show had an impact? Because this is the truth that we are sharing, because sometimes people don't understand the pressures that come with the limelight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think it had an impact perhaps in terms of
No.
Okay.
You make a decision as a person.
It's you. That,
I can't blame the show, but I can make a decision which from now on, I choose to keep my personal life personal.
Okay.
You know, to protect myself, my sanity, because especially with the mental health awareness month, I need the peace for myself, for my kids, for my family, and the people who love us. And there is nothing as I feel for me, which works for me now, that has helped me so much. I've kept a lot of my personal things after I stopped being on TV.
Show,
very personal, to a point where I don't know when was the last. I didn't even wish my mother happy Mother's Day or happy birthday on social media. That's where I kept it. So it's not just about my marriage. It's also about myself. But what I share a lot is more testimony. More testimony, because I need to play my part. God did everything, changed my life around for me to share my story, because the world needs healing. The world needs healing. There's people who are going through hell out there, and just because they're not exposed to the limelight doesn't mean they're not hurting. You know, minimize it, and we become their inspiration, and that's what I want to be. More than people knowing Guti. No, I don't want people to know that. I don't want them to know, even if my kids are going to a private school or they're going to a township school or they're even going to school at all, if I can afford to pay any school fees. But it's about sharing the testimony. And the best testimony is really being alive and sharing God's favor. God's favor, it's you getting to sit in the table with kings and queens without even you bribing somebody to without you even effortlessly, you sit in the table.
So much power.
You get invited in the table. And that's what, now I can sit in any table. Whether it's Donald Trump and President Wetu. If I was in America, I would have taken a selfie with them without them questioning. That's God's favor.
If this platform means anything to you at all, if this platform blesses you in some other way, there's a lot of costs to actually run this project, and would really, really appreciate it if you could, give whatever you feel led to give towards this platform, and the banking details are at the bottom of the screen. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, 10 Rand, 10,000 Rand, doesn't matter. We're open to everything, because we really not only are enjoying this, but we really feel the importance of this platform and the role that it plays, to various families and people who give us feedback about the importance of this platform.
Okay, thank you so much, Budwan. Thank you so much.
Sure.
It is our prayer that God restores the family.
Thank you.
You had mentioned that things obviously are not the way that they are supposed to be.
Yes.
And we really pray that, because as human beings, when you go through difficult time, sometimes it affects us differently. Omunye, it will be like, angiko in the right space and I'm affected in this way and all of that. We really pray that you guys find yourselves back, where things were.
Full restoration.
In the beginning. We really pray for that restoration, because, as we said, we all need healing. We all need to get to a space where, we are fit to stand and face life again. And thank you for being that beacon of hope. Because, for a lot of people who have failed in businesses and all of you are that hope. As someone who's able to pick up the pieces and make things work again. And we know that you're the DaGuru.
But having had to survive 3 miscarriages, 3 car accidents, 4 car accidents,
fires.
The fires, you said 3 times.
Fires from nowhere.
From nowhere. Your business looting, during that looting
Floods.
thing.
Depression, surviving depression.
Depression. I mean, I'm counting all of these things are things you've just said, you know, in this podcast. But you are here.
Yeah.
You know, you are here, you don't have a scratch at all. And, you know, we really, really praise the Lord for
Amen.
the man that you've become and the man that you are still becoming.
Yeah.
You know, as well, because we believe in the continuous work of God, you know, in our lives, that God is never done with us. For as long as we have breath coming out of our nostrils, you know, God is not done with us. And you, and this is now my parting shot, that you need to look into all of that as a man. Look into all this journey, you know, these milestones, the things that you went through. You know, and indeed you say, God has been good to me. God has been good, because you could count any of those things and you could easily say, I shouldn't have gone out of that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have come out of that. You know, I shouldn't have, the first accident, I shouldn't have come. I mean, there are so many things. And all of these things, they weigh heavy in our lives. And you talk about marriage, those things would weigh heavy on marriage, you know, because then you begin to look back and say, you know, in the broader scheme of things, is it even worth it?
Yeah.
You know, and we're really, really thankful to God for you, for your life, for your voice, for the fact that you are able to sit here today and have this chat with us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate having this talk. It's my time to tell my story.
Yeah.
And inspire, change the world, play my part as well. And showcase what God can do, all the wonders, all the miracles. He's a promise keeper.
Yeah.
Miracle maker. He's just on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo.
Wow.
God is about to do something amazing with your life. You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, DaGuru in the house. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that this podcast today meant a thing or two for you.
Yeah.
And certainly we hope that it has helped to change your life, you know, for the better. And Kgolo, we're grateful for your coming here. And in the next development, especially when the relationship part has gone 360 degrees, hopefully
we are here for it.
Hopefully we can call you here. We have an extra chair sitting right here, and let's have this conversation.
And a kid's corner somewhere there.
Listen, guys, God restores. I mean, that's one thing I know for sure.
Yeah.
God will always restore. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
And please do subscribe, and do like, do comment, do share the podcast. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
God bless.